How to sing with the diaphragm. How to sing from the diaphragm. Actually, no. How to breathe from the diaphragm. Oh my gosh, I'm so confused! Today I'm going to attempt to bring a little bit more clarity around the subject of using our diaphragm to sing. It is a very confusing topic because there are lots of schools of thoughts out there and quite frankly, quite a few myths that I need to debunk today in order to help you understand the use of the diaphragm for effective singing. The terminology used of let's sing with the diaphragm or from the diaphragm or let's breathe with the diaphragm is all very, very incorrect terminology. Because you see, the diaphragm is not a muscle where it has nerve endings that we can actually directly feel. So we cannot directly affect the activity of the diaphragm. But what we can do is use other parts of our body to engage the diaphragm to maximize its use for breathing and support for great singing. I'll get into that a little bit more later. Now, let me explain why that is bad terminology. When we say sing with the diaphragm, it really can cause a lot of confusion because we don't sing directly with our diaphragm, okay? We sing with our vocal cords because when we take a breath in and that breath goes through our vocal cords, it causes our vocal cords to vibrate together, producing the sound, which is when we sing and of course when we speak as well. So it's incorrect to say that we sing with our diaphragm because we clearly don't. And then it's also incorrect to say that we breathe with our diaphragm because we breathe with our lungs. Our lungs is the mechanism of which our body uses for our breathing. But what the diaphragm does is it plays a very important role in helping us to maximize our breath capacity and to maximize our support to have a very strong, powerful sound. And so what you need to do as a singer is to learn how to maximize the use of your diaphragm in order to get these great power and beautiful vocal tones in your voice. Okay, so the way we do that is that you need to begin to practice correct breathing techniques that engage your diaphragm. Because when we do this properly, the way it works is that we take a breath in such a way that our ribs expand out sideways, like this, without engaging our chest or shoulders. So if you notice, I'm not going like that. Okay, that's a shallow breath, and that does not maximize our breathing capacity. Okay, so what you want to do is take a breath where the side expansion happens in your rib cage out towards your hand. Now let me show you what actually happens when you do that. The ribs will expand out like this, and then your diaphragm, which at resting point looks like this, a dome shape, all right, and it actually is located about here. It separates your abdominal muscles from your chest cavity, and inside your chest cavity is your lungs, right? It looks like this at rest point, but then when you expand your ribs out, your diaphragm will actually move and flatten out like this. Now, when it flattens out like that, it actually presses onto the abdominal muscles, helping you to give your voice a great supporting mechanism. And it enables that greater capacity for the lungs to take in the full capacity of breath that it can take in. Okay? A really great way to practice this is simply by first of all freeing up your body. Okay, you need to really make sure you are tension free and that in particular your shoulders are down. I see this a lot in many students, when they're first learning this technique, that they do this and they go and then everything rises up. Okay, so that's not what we're looking for. So it's a very good idea to practice this in front of a mirror. Okay, so what you want to do is make sure that your shoulders are down. Okay, now a great way to do this, right, is to actually put your arms out like this and then take a really good breath in while raising your hands up. Now, because as you do that, you're actually opening up this whole rib cage and lower torso area, okay, which is really going to maximize the use of your diaphragm. Okay, so you go like this and you take a breath in, let your rib cage expand sideways, and then you slowly and steadily hiss the breath out as you are putting your arms back down by your sides. Okay? So what I'd like you to do is to try that with me now. Okay? So just let your have a bit of a shake and make sure that you're really loose. Roll your shoulders back and down. Okay? Now have your arms out here like this. And now take a good breath in, drop your jaw, and make sure the breath is a silent breath. Okay? So don't go, okay? But feel your rib cage expand sideways, that lovely expansion, and then just and what you want to do is let that S be a very even breath, okay? And it's quite robust as well. All right, well, I hope that tip helped, and I hope that helped to clarify the effectiveness and the use of the diaphragm. And next time, please try not to say, let's sing with the diaphragm or let's breathe with the diaphragm, okay? Because that's incorrect terminology. But instead, let's say, how can we strengthen the diaphragm and maximize its use so that we can have amazing support and breath management techniques for our singing in order to empower us to be the singers to sing the way that we want to, with the strength and power and beautiful vocal tone of the singers that we love.
So here is exercise number 1, which I call suspending the breath. When you breathe at rest, you do not suspend your breath. Suspending your breath is a special skill that helps you develop control over your breathing. It exercises specific muscle groups that are responsible for slowing down the airflow through the vocal folds. More specifically, this exercise trains the muscles of inhalation to resist the impulse to exhale immediately. Here we go. Step number 1. Inhale for the count of 4. Nice and easy. Inhale silently. Keep your throat open. Make sure that your inhalation is consistent throughout the count. If you put your hands on your lower ribs, you will see how they are moving sideways during inhalation. Do not overfill your lungs. If you feel tension in your throat, you inhale too much air. Exhale and start again. Step 2. Suspend your breath for the count of 4. What does it mean and how does it feel? Simply stop inhaling, but do not exhale yet. Your breath is not moving in or out. If you put your hands on the lower ribs, you will see that they are not moving in or out when you suspend your breath. But suspending your breath doesn't mean holding your breath at the level of the vocal folds. Imagine that you are lifting something heavy. You automatically close off your vocal folds to create high abdominal pressure when lifting heavy objects. Try it. Lift something heavy. Did you feel your throat closing? That is exactly what you don't want to feel. No tension, no straining, no pushing. You want to feel open and flexible in spite of not inhaling or exhaling. So instead, suspend your breath by engaging the muscles of your torso. You are balancing the muscles of inhalation and exhalation. Step 3, exhale for the count of 4. But don't exhale all the air at once. Exhale slowly and consistently. Your hands placed on the lower ribs will move inward slowly. Repeat this exercise a few times. Bonus tip. Once you know how to do this exercise for the count of 4, try suspending your breath for the count of 5. Inhale for 5, suspend for 5, and exhale for 5. If you are good at this, extend your count to 6. You get the point. Don't forget that you are aiming for flexibility, openness, and buoyancy. Time for exercise number 2, which I call hissing. I believe you are familiar with this exercise, but let me tell you how to do it properly so that you really work on developing breath support, not just your ego. Step 1. Inhale for the count of 4. Inhale silently, keep your throat open. Do not overfill your lungs. Easy, right? Step 2. Start hissing for as long as you can. But instead of breaking records, focus on a few things. Keep your throat open and keep your torso expanded. Engage the muscles of your torso and create balance between the muscles of inhalation and exhalation. Make the hiss even and consistent. If your hissing sounds like this, stop and try again. Inconsistent airflow means that your muscles are not working efficiently. Put your hands on the lower ribs. Don't let them collapse immediately. Keep them expanded for as long as you can during hissing. Bonus tip. Focus on the feelings associated with this exercise instead of counting seconds. Notice your abdominals, rib muscles, the pelvic floor muscles, and your back, and their engagement during this exercise. This is what breath support feels like. 2 easy breath support exercises. Practice every day for a few minutes and you will notice the difference in your breathing and singing.
Hey, so I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of a tutorial on how to breathe as a professional singer. So if you are just starting out, you probably haven't been trained and you probably haven't been taught that breathing is a lot different as a professional singer than it would be as the average, ordinary, everyday Joe. So I'm here to tell you that if you are just starting out, most likely you don't really know how to breathe, and that's okay, but I want you to do something a little bit dramatic here, and I'm going to tell you from personal experience in order to benefit you and becoming the best possible singer you can possibly be. I want you to throw away everything that you think you've taught yourself as a singer. Throw away the styling techniques, the techniques about riffing and running, and throw away the techniques that you've taught yourself about belting and all that good stuff, because trust me, you want to throw all the old stuff away, because the number one thing that you have to do, the base thing that you have to do before learning how to do all the fun stuff, is actually learning how to breathe, because breathing is honestly going to tie all of that in together, and it's going to make everything sound a lot better anyway. Let me just address the singers that do know how to breathe already. If you have been trained and you understand, this is a great tutorial for you as well, because it's just going to help maintain the lung strength that you probably have, or make your lungs just even stronger. So let me start off by saying that I have been taught by a professional vocal coach who actually worked on American Idol, and thanks to her, I actually have the strongest lungs that I have had from another teacher before. So let me just teach you right now. Number one thing that you're going to have to learn before getting into the exercise is, new singers, understand that your diaphragm is down here, kind of in your belly area, and you want to breathe from that area. So what I mean by that is, when you take a deep breath, take a deep breath. Most likely you breathe from your chest, right? Your chest rose, and honestly, that is not what it's supposed to do, okay? So when you take a deep breath, I want you to place your hand over your belly. Mine's just right over my belly button. And I want you to see that when you take a deep breath, feel your belly rise. Target your breathing in that area. Not from here. Wait, see, I'm so used to singing from a diaphragm. You don't want that to happen. You want this to stay still, and you want to have your belly expand as you're taking a deep breath, bringing all the air down into your diaphragm, okay? And your belly sinks back in as you exhale. Try that a few more times. Very good. So now that you actually understand where your diaphragm is and where you need to be singing from, let's get into the second part. So the second part is actually going to be the tutorial, and we are going to get into that. So the number one thing that you have to have is a timer. Everybody has a timer on their phone these days. which is completely awesome. I love the stopwatch that I have. So I'm just going to take this, stop, reset. I'm going to tell you the 3 steps that are involved in this exercise. First of all is emptying out every bit of air that you have in your lungs. So for me, I like to do this for as long as possible. Even when you think you have no more air left, do a little still there. Let it all out. Next thing, let me just take a deep breath, okay. Next thing is after all the air has been expelled out of you, I want you to just release your diaphragm, and you will see that releasing your diaphragm is going to naturally start suctioning air in on its own. So you won't have to suction all the air in for 5 counts, okay? Let me just demonstrate that for you, okay? So once you have taken a 5 count breath in, we are going to exhale on a tea kettle sound for 20 seconds, okay? So by tea kettle, I mean the sound like a tea kettle, like this. So it's gonna sound like that. So the air is actually coming out through tiny holes between your teeth. You're keeping your teeth close together, but relaxing your jaw and relaxing every single neck muscle, all your shoulders, everything must be relaxed while doing this exercise. I can't stress that enough because we want to depend on our diaphragm versus all the other muscles up here. We don't want these to tighten up while we're singing, okay? All the focus is down here. So we're going to do the entire exercise all together. Let me set my timer for 20 seconds. Actually, I don't need to set it. I'm just doing the stopwatch. So we're going to let all the air out until we get every little last bit of air out of our lungs, and then take a 5 count relaxed breath in. Relax, relax, relax. 20 seconds on tea kettle. And then I want you to let it all out on a tea kettle with a big and then deep breath in. So doing that 3 times every single day may not seem like a big deal, but trust me, it's going to help your lungs build up that strength significantly, so you will be able to recognize not only where to breathe from and where to sing from, but you'll get that proper breath support so you can get through every little thing that you need to, learning all the techniques, the styling, doing the riffs and runs. Trust me, getting your breath under control and getting in check is going to help everything, all the fun stuff, immensely. Trust me, it's going to help you get through a song, it's going to get you through a whole set, all that good stuff. So I hope this was very beneficial for you. Trust me, when I first started doing this, I felt like I was suffocating even to get through the last 5 seconds, and it's going to feel painful and you're going to really want to tense up and move around. Just get through it. I know it'll feel like you're suffocating, but as each day goes on and on, you'll start to realize that it gets easier and easier, and you'll want to extend those 20 seconds to 30, 30 seconds to 40, and so on. I'm at the point to where I've probably done almost 2 minutes. And that's just from doing this every day, or at least 5 times every week. So I hope this was beneficial for you.